You may recall a recent story from within Pfizer featuring Pfizer insider Melissa Strickler showing emails from Pfizer executives saying human fetal tissue has been used in laboratory tests associated with the vaccine program. Their words, not ours. These are words from a Pfizer executive talking about the tests associated with the vaccine and confirming that fetal tissues were used in those tests, and also reminding everyone not to tell anybody this information. Last week, the Associated Press did an article about this Project Veritas release with the headline, "Not Real News, a look at what didn't happen this week." A roundup of some of the most popular but completely untrue stories and visuals of the week. None of these are legit, even though they were shared widely on social media. The Associated Press reported, Pfizer's COVID vaccine does not contain fetal cells contrary to online claims. And then the Associated Press had a headline that said, claim newly leaked emails among Pfizer employees show that the company's COVID vaccine contains fetal cells. But that wasn't a claim that I made. It wasn't a claim that Project Veritas made. It wasn't a claim that was in these emails leaked from Pfizer's vice president. It was a straw man argument, an argument that ignores a person's actual position and substitutes a distorted, exaggerated, or misrepresented version of that position. This Associated Press reporter is guilty of defamation by implication. We actually have the media libel law book. Defamation by implication is premised not on direct statements, but on false suggestions, impressions, and implications arising from otherwise truthful statements. The Associated Press saying that this claim was made, we didn't make it. You may be wondering why you haven't seen our videos disseminated on mainstream media. It's because of this article. We're going to take you through it. So let's take a closer look at this Associated Press article and the extreme cunning behind how they did this, how they got other people to not report what we showed. Very sophisticated, what this reporter at the Associated Press did. Claim, newly leaked emails amongst Pfizer employees show the company's COVID-19 vaccine contains fetal cells. Again, we didn't make that claim. The facts. A widely shared video by the group Project Veritas has led to a false claim online that purported emails amongst Pfizer officials show that the pharmaceutical company COVID vaccine contains aborted fetal cells. But the video shows that the company used a fetal cell line when testing the efficacy of its vaccine. So the article contains language clearly indicating the reporter understood that we did not make this claim. So to remind you about what the story was about, this was Vanessa Gelman, Senior Director of Worldwide Research at Pfizer, telling all of her fellow executives, quote, we want to avoid having the information on the fetal cells floating out there. We want them to avoid creating an opportunity to raise the issue. The risk of communicating this right now outweighs any potential benefit. They're concerned about the public knowing the thing. What is the thing they're concerned about? It was this language in an email between Vanessa Gelman and Advait Bhattacharya, both of whom work for Pfizer. Vanessa saying, quote, one or more cell lines with an origin that can be traced back to human fetal tissue has been used in the laboratory tests associated with the vaccine. That is a fact. We are quoting Vanessa Gelman and the executives at Pfizer. That's laboratory tests associated with the vaccine. That's the claim. We didn't make that claim. Executives at Pfizer made that claim, and the Associated Press made a separate claim that we did not make. Vanessa Gelman repeatedly tells her fellow executives not to mention this particular thing. She does not want the public to know about this. She even emphatically tells Vice President Phil Dormitzer, quote, I would prefer we do not use this language. She underlines it to emphasize the importance of keeping this information secret from the public. So this is a pretty clever thing that the Associated Press did. They actually factually reported the video was accurate. They stated what we did. But because the Associated Press knew that our reporting was bulletproof, again, we're just showing emails, or just the cold hard facts with no opining from me, they had to create a straw man argument, a false claim not made by us, in order to create the supposition that we were fake news, that this stuff didn't happen. None of the stuff that they claimed didn't happen, none of the stuff that we reported, but they had to have the narrative that this stuff was false, and that's why they did this. And that's what New York state law says is defamation by implication. So even though the article is bylined by the Associated Press, it also says that one Angelo Fischera contributed to the report. So our legal department sent a letter to Angelo Fischera. So the letter says, Mr. Fischera, we write to demand that the Associated Press immediately take certain steps necessary to clarify the misleading statements within your October 8th article entitled, quote, "Not real news, look at what didn't happen this week." As your article later admits, the Project Veritas video makes no such claims. The article achieved its fundamental intended purpose, insinuating and implying that the Project Veritas video itself was misleading or false. Project Veritas has never supported the spread of false information regarding the Pfizer vaccine. Neither Project Veritas nor James O'Keefe was ever contacted for comment regarding the aforementioned false claims. But you know who was contacted for comment by Mr. Fischera? Pfizer. So just like the New York Times, they didn't pick up the phone and try to call me because they had no interest in what I had to say. They had a narrative to manufacture. It was ostensibly more important to seek comment from Pfizer rather than comment from the actual publisher of the video. You state, quote, Pfizer did not respond to questions about the Project Veritas video, but a spokesperson pointed out that the information about the testing has been publicly disclosed through a number of sources and news reports. However, Pfizer has never made a public statement regarding the same, and the emails showcased in Project Veritas video are irrefutable evidence as to the reasons they refused to do so. Now, the article at the Associated Press is having its intended effect, and this is perhaps the most amazing part of this entire Pretracto video. Someone sent me a DM on Instagram showing a communication between a citizen and a local TV station, Fox 10 Phoenix. The citizen writes, "Why aren't you guys covering the news story about the Pfizer vaccine, the leaked emails regarding the use of the aborted fetal cells?" And this person at Fox 10 Phoenix responds with a link to the Associated Press article, quote, "Looks like you were fooled by the internet." So the verified mainstream media, including TV stations, are using Mr. Fischera's Associated Press article as the reason why we are fake news and nobody should take our reporting seriously. Now they're linking to a Washington Post article, but the Washington Post article is just a syndication of the Associated Press article. This Associated Press article gets effused into all types of mainstream media algorithms and platforms, and the Washington Post's headline is identical, "Not real news, a look at what didn't happen this week." So the viewer is left with the insinuation that we and our video reporting is fake news, not real. That's what the Associated Press has done here. They do it all the time. This is why our Wikipedia page is so polluted, because of things like this. They've taken an actual fact, substituted an exaggerated version of something that someone else said, and that's why they're saying that we're fake news. Now, the definition of investigative reporting is to make public what those powerful people want kept private. And clearly, a director, a vice president, people like that saying, "Don't tell the public this information," is information the public has a right to know. It is the job of a journalist to show the public that information without fear or favor. But if the Associated Press's job is not to do the investigative reporting thingy, but to fact check what random citizens might say in comment sections, then why isn't the Associated Press fact checking the false interpretations from large established media outlets about what the Associated Press has said? Fox 10 and other organizations like the Washington Post and other people are picking up this claim that we're fake news. Mr. Fischera, why aren't you fact checking those people? Because I would submit to you that these organizations have tremendously more power to influence public perception than an anonymous commenter on Instagram.